Hey everyone, it's Matt with Holistic Homebrew, and today we're going to be building a city in Dungeons & Dragons. The first step in building a city, I always come up with the name first. It helps get everything flowing a little bit. Try and figure out a name that's appealing to you and your world. Now that you've come up with a name for your city, the next step we're going to be doing is asking a few questions to understand what your world is. First one is, where is your city located inside your world? Is your city on a coast? Is it located on the cliff of a mountain? Is it underwater? These are tons of questions you want to ask yourself when you're building your city and wanting to know where it's located, because that'll help with the environment, figuring out what types of temperature and what kind of climate it's going to be for your city. Next question you're going to be asking is, why is that city there? Why was it built on a cliff? Why was it built in a coast? Why is it built underwater? These are the types of questions you want to be asking to understand why that city is there. The next question we're going to be asking ourselves is, how many people live in your city? Is it a small village, less than 1,000 people? Or is this a major city where you have over 25,000 people? Next question, what types of races live in this city? Is it just strictly humans, dwarves, and elves, and exotic races are not welcomed? Or is it a city that has tons of exotic races? This is important in knowing if your player chooses an exotic race, will they be welcomed? Moving on to the next one. What is protecting the city, if anything is? Is this going to be a small village where there's no walls and nothing is protecting the city? It's just a farming village. Or is this going to be, a major city with walls going all around the city? Or do they have poles kind of blocking it off that have been sharpened at the end? Does it have magical protection? Is there this, magical dome that is protecting them from bombardments? Next question you're going to want to ask is, what kind of government does this city have? Is it going to be a dictatorship, a democracy, a mageocracy? There's tons of different types of governments that you can put down for your city. And if you go inside the Dungeon Master's Guide, you'll have a bunch of different types of governments inside there that'll be able to help you understand which one you'd like to do. Our next question, what legal system does your city have, if any? So the way we want to do this is kind of like a Salem witch trials moment where the people kind of, can accuse anyone and they're almost always going to be executed. Or is this going to be something where you have a judge and a jury and you have a legal system that's going around? Kind of want to decide how the laws are put into place inside your city. Moving on to our next question. Are there any temples or shrines inside your city? Or is it something like a mystery cult where people have to meet in secret and kind of stay hush-hush about their god? And if you do have any, what gods are they to? You're going to want to have a shrine to Ioun, or you want to have this large cathedral to Pelor. There's a bunch of different options you can choose to do. And I would just read up on which gods you want to have the majority control inside your city. Moving on to our next question. What is the city's main income source? Is this a traveler's paradise where everyone meets and trades goods? Or is this going to be a farming village where people grow their own food, sell food? Or is this a fishing village? There's a few options you can do. I would recommend just looking up a few different types of income sources for real life. So our next question is very similar to the one we just did. How does your city get its food? If they're a trading village, of course, they're going to be trading goods and that's how they acquire their food. Or is this a farming village? They're pretty much just going to be making their own food. But you kind of want to figure out how they acquire their food, because if they are trading goods and they're trading with other cities, if they cut off that supply, they are in a lot of trouble. Next question we're asking is, what is the city's economy like? Are they a rich, bustling city with gold statues all over the place? Or is this a poor city where there's slums and shanty towns all over the place? Next question is, are there any guilds inside your city? Is there a thieves guild? Is there a merchant guild? Is there a mage guild? You want to decide if there's guilds or factions inside your city, because most of the time I have them end up running the city. So if you have a mage guild, they're going to have the most power inside your city. And the next question I like to ask is, what does it look like? What does it sound like? And what does it smell like inside your city? If you use descriptive details about your city, your players are going to be wondering and imagining what your city looks like. If you talk about this large mage tower in the background of your city, they're going to want to go to that mage tower. Or if you start having descriptive details about the second you walk inside the city, you have the smell of fresh baked bread as you walk in. It's going to make the city feel like it's home. Or if you use descriptive details such as the second you walk inside this city, you smell that rotting scent of decay. They're gonna not feel welcome in this city. They're gonna feel like something evil is happening here. Once you've taken the time to answer all these questions, you're gonna wanna build 3 main buildings for your city. You're gonna wanna create some inn or tavern that your players can meet at. You're gonna wanna create some government building to where laws can be made, whether it's a Senate building or it's, Queen's Castle. You're gonna wanna build something where laws are made. And then the last one you're gonna wanna create is shops. Always make a ton of shops because your players are gonna wanna explore everything to where they can spend money. Shops are definitely something you're going to want to spend some time making because your players always love spending money inside your city. So what I like to do is create a name for that shop. You're going to want to create at least one main NPC that runs that shop, and you want to at least create 5 items that your players can purchase stuff from. So that's just a few things I would recommend when creating a shop. When creating a tavern or an inn, or maybe even a brothel if you choose to, you're going to want to create at least 2 to 3 NPCs for that building. You want to have the shop owner and then a few people that they can meet. You might even be able to have an NPC that gives them a quest. It's up to you on what you choose to do with that. What I also recommend is creating a few items that the players can purchase from there, whether it's food, alcohol, or games, something where they can, distract and have downtime. You also want to figure out how much it's going to cost to stay there the night. Most of the time, people always look for a tavern or an inn to stay at so then they can, take their long rest. After you created your taverns, your inns, your shops, your government buildings, your shrines and temples, once you're done with all that, what you're going to want to do is move on to the next step. What you're going to want to do is make a map of your city. You don't have to do this. It is recommended so then you understand when you're describing down streets that you see a shop on your left and this is what they see. It helps you keep track of things a little bit better, but it's not required to create a map. There's a few websites that I will give you in the description below that can help you create these maps. It's going to take a little bit of time creating all this stuff, and you're going to want to do this for multiple cities, but when you're just starting off, just build one city. You can build more later on, but you're going to want to focus on your base of operations for your players. They, majority of the time, will not leave this city unless you give them a quest that makes them leave the city. So kind of keep quests inside the city and they're not going to leave for the most part. I hope this information has helped you get a better knowledge of how to create a city for your world. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'd love to be able to help you get more information on how to build your cities. If you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, and if there's any information that I left out, please let me know down below. I look forward to creating more videos for this series to help dungeon masters just like yourself. If there's a video that you guys would like to see, please let me know. Until then, keep on rolling.